This happened a few summers ago when I was still living in my childhood home with my parents. I was 17. One weekend, out of nowhere, my parents went away for a few days without me, which was unheard of. They were the type who were always home, constantly keeping the house in order and rarely taking time off together. In all my years living there, I couldn't remember a single time they'd left like that. Naturally, I decided to take advantage of the rare opportunity and invited over MJ, my girlfriend at the time, to spend the weekend. It felt like a once-in-a-lifetime chance to have the house to myself without interruptions. MJ had this playful, mischievous streak that made everything feel a little more daring than it should have been. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why we didn't work out, but I'm not getting into that right now. Knowing her, I should have predicted what would happen that night. As soon as she saw my heated pool glowing in the backyard, her eyes lit up with mischief. She said we should skinny dip, grinning like it was the most obvious idea in the world. I told her the neighbors might see, but she kept pushing and made a solid point. We'd probably never get the chance again. We'd gone swimming plenty of times, but never anything like that. I was always a well-behaved, polite kid, even scolded myself for being too nice. It took a lot of convincing, but MJ had a way of pulling me in. Her energy was contagious, and soon enough we were in the pool laughing and splashing under the night sky. It was actually a really romantic moment, as cheesy as that sounds. The water was warm against the cool summer air, and everything felt perfect, almost surreal. Let me quickly explain the setup. The pool sat just outside large bay windows that overlooked the living room. Because it was dark outside, and the lights inside were still on, we had a clear view into the house. It was like looking into a lit-up dollhouse. If you saw it, you'd know what I mean. At first, that view made me feel safe, like we were still connected to the house even while floating outside in our own little bubble. That comfort didn't last. At one point, while MJ was talking about something I don't even remember now, I glanced up at the windows and froze. I saw the last thing I expected. On one of the far living room walls was a shadow. It was faint but distinct, and the way it moved made it obvious it was someone's shadow. I watched in horror as it shifted out of sight, like someone walking deeper into the house. My heart started pounding. I felt a surge of panic, but didn't want to scare MJ. I whispered to her that we needed to get out of the pool. She didn't ask questions. She just followed my lead as we got out, drying off as quietly as we could. I told MJ to hide in the pool house, turn off the light, and stay silent until I came back. Her playful demeanor was gone. She was clearly freaked out, but holding it together. She nodded and slipped inside without another word. I opened the back door quietly and stepped into the kitchen. I was going to handle this myself. That's how my parents raised me. I grabbed a knife off a cutting board and started moving through the house. Someone had definitely been there. It was obvious. I started noticing small things that didn't make sense. A dining room chair pulled slightly out, like someone had just been sitting there. A picture frame on the wall tilted. A coffee mug I didn't remember using sitting on the counter. Little things no normal burglar would waste time doing. As I moved deeper into the house, I started thinking it might not be a burglar at all. My heart was racing. I thought I was going to get jumped at any second, but nothing happened. I checked every room on the ground floor, but found no one. All the doors were locked and all the windows shut tight. It didn't make sense. If someone had been inside, where were they now? The longer I searched, the more my bravado slipped away. Finally, I decided to call the police. They arrived quickly and did a thorough sweep of the house and yard. They found nothing. No forced entry, no footprints in the backyard, nothing. They couldn't even figure out how someone could have gotten in. One officer suggested I might have scared them off, but I wasn't convinced. By then it was too late at night to do much else. The police left. MJ and I were too scared to stay, but had nowhere else to go. We locked every door, barricaded the bedroom, and tried to sleep. Around 4 a.m., I woke up to the sound of creaking floorboards above me. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but the noise was too clear. Someone was moving upstairs. I listened longer and heard footsteps moving down the stairs, like they were trying to leave quietly. Adrenaline shot through me. I grabbed the knife I'd left on the nightstand, told MJ to stay put, and bolted out of the room. I moved as quickly and quietly as I could, but by the time I reached the front door, it was standing wide open. Whoever had been inside was gone. I didn't bother calling the police again. There was nothing they could do. I just locked the doors and went back to bed. The next morning, the full extent of the intrusion hit me. All of our kitchen knives were missing, every single one, which definitely wasn't something a rational person would take. They'd also grabbed smaller items, cash, watches, random electronics. But it was the knives that stuck with me. It felt like whoever had been inside was leaving a message, though I couldn't tell what it was. When my parents came home and I told them, they were surprisingly understanding. I'm not someone who scares easily. Never have been. But even now, I sometimes think about how strange it all was. I was never able to figure out how that person got in, or where they were hiding while the police searched the house. It's one of those things that just stays with you forever. This happened last year during Holly Bash weekend. I go to Rowan University. And for anyone who doesn't know, Holly Bash is our big spring festival. It's like our own mini Coachella. It's held every April on Holly Bush Green, right near the historic Holly Bush Mansion. There are carnival rides, food trucks, lawn games, and a concert with a surprise headliner. The whole campus turns out. It's supposed to be the most fun day of the year. I was a sophomore at the time, and like a lot of students, I stayed out late that night. Rowan's in a pretty quiet suburban area. Glassboro doesn't feel dangerous, even at 2 a.m. That's probably why I didn't think much of it when I left my friend's dorm and started walking back to Chestnut Hall alone. What I didn't know was that around 12:30 a.m., a group of masked people, maybe 10 or more, had been seen banging on doors and riding bikes around campus, including outside Chestnut. I didn't see it firsthand, but people were posting about it online while it was happening. I wasn't checking social media. I was just trying to get back to my dorm, so it's about 2:30 a.m. I swipe into Chestnut Hall, walk inside, and head toward the stairs when I notice someone sitting in the lounge. That alone isn't strange. It's a college dorm. People are up all the time. But this guy was wearing a mask, not a COVID mask, a full black ski mask. And he wasn't doing anything, just sitting there in silence. It took me a second to process. I actually stopped near the entrance of the lounge, frozen. It didn't make sense. I had no idea who he was or why he was masked, but it genuinely freaked me out. Then he jumped off the couch and turned toward me in one quick motion. I didn't even think. I ran down the hall and ducked into the nearest bathroom, locking the door behind me. I stayed there at least 5 minutes, long enough for the hallway to go completely silent again. I didn't want to seem paranoid, but my gut was screaming at me. Eventually, I cracked the door open and peeked out. No one was in the hall. I thought maybe he had left. I stepped out, trying not to sprint and freak myself out even more, and started walking toward the other exit. That's when I saw him again. He was still in the lounge, still masked, and now he was directly across from where I had to walk. His bike was leaned against the door, and a chair was jammed between the wall, and the frame like he blocked it on purpose. I had pepper spray on my keychain. I pulled it out and held it in front of me. I didn't point it at him or threaten him. I just showed I had it, hoping it would be enough. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I walked past him. He didn't move. He didn't even flinch. It was like he wanted me to see him, like the fear was the whole point. I didn't look back. I pushed the other door open and left the building. I was halfway to Magnolia when I heard the sound of bikes behind me. 3 more masked people rode up next to me. They didn't touch me or try to grab me, but they were heckling me, laughing, saying things I couldn't make out. I know that sounds harmless on its own, but a few of them were waving what looked like guns. That's what freaked me out the most. Maybe they were fake or airsoft, but it was clear they were trying to intimidate me. I tried to ignore them, but I could feel how close they were riding, just out of arm's reach. I made it to Magnolia and texted my friend to come meet me outside. He walked me back to Chestnut, which made me feel a lot safer. Luckily, the bikers were gone by then. I didn't call the police that night. I wasn't hurt, but I was really shaken. I can't even fully explain why. It Wasn't until the next morning that I told my mom everything. She ended up reporting it. Later that night, some of my guy friends texted me saying they'd also been approached by a group of masked guys, and a few of them had pull guns. Nobody was hurt, but it was enough for campus police to start taking it seriously. I've heard a lot of rumors about who those guys were. Some people think it was just local kids trying to scare students. It's the gun detail that still gets to me. It's likely that a group of armed non-students made their way into my dorm that night, the place I live. I've been scared to walk home alone ever since.